J-Flexx, man. Happy to have you on the platform, my man.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate being here.
Yeah, man. Platinum songwriter, infamous ghostwriter, legend on many blocks and a lot of conversations. Happy to have you on the platform, my man.
Brother, it's an honor.
Yeah, man. So, where you from?
I'm from Dayton, Ohio, land of the funk, baby.
How was it like growing up in Ohio, man?
Well, that's the thing that I think endeared me to the West Coast so much because, a lot of the West Coast is based on the funk. So my town, Dayton, Ohio, they had Ohio Players, Heat Wave, Slave, Roger, Roger and Zap, Slave. These are the groups that I grew up listening to, going to see live. You know what I mean? They playing Island Park, Ohio Players, Zap. Roger used to come out with a sock on back then. They called him Roger in the Human Body. You know what I mean? So I just grew up around funk, man. And my dad was a singer. My mom was a singer. So, it was musical, always music everywhere,
So let's start it off with Natural Born Killaz and how you met and wrote Dr. Dre's verse. Give me the backstory on that.
All right, well, me and my buddy Gene had just got out the military, We had sold up Maryland pretty much because I was doing music when I was in the military and everything. So, he was like, hey, man, we should go to L.A. because we had set up a meeting at Solar. Back then, Solar they was the niggas that had the Whispers and all of them dudes, Shalimar and all them. So, but it was a black-owned company, Dick Griffey. So we were supposed to meet Dick Griffey. So we come out here, and my buddy Gene was trying to convince me to move out here. He's like, man, we gonna have to move out here because we ain't gonna catch nobody in 2 weeks. We was only supposed to come 2 weeks, meet this guy, shop our dinner, whatever. So I'm like, man, we gonna starve out here. I ain't moving out here. So he trying to talk me into it. I'm trying to change the subject. I see a Ferrari pulling up next to us, right? So I'm like, hey, look at this Ferrari right here. He like, whatever, nigga, I'm like, nah, that look like Dr. Dre in that motherfucker, right? So he's like, hell nah. Pull up, it's Dre at the light next to us, right? So the homie roll down the window, getting at him. And so Dre said, all right, pull over in this Jack in the Box right here. So Dre pulled over. We pulled over. We had our tape. We ready. I got the demo, everything. We ready. So we give him the tape. I said, we ain't professionals, but we trying to do it. He like, I know what to listen for. You know what I mean? And so already it was a crowd starting to gather. So, he can't stay put for too long. So he like, I'll check out y'all video. Tell you what, he gave us passes to this party. He said, come to this 4th of July party, and I'll let you know what I think about the demo because I got to go because here come people. So he hop in the Ferrari, bone out. So then I'll tell the homie, oh, yeah, let's move out this month. I'm ready to move now, So we get to the party. It's like a week later. We get to the party, and I said, hey, man, what you think about the tape? He was like, at first he didn't remember me. I'm like, he ain't even listen to that shit. Then he was like, oh, yeah, that shit was dope. Look, don't leave after this. I'm going to hook you up with my boy. Don't leave. After the party, stay here. So I go back, tell the homie. He said that shit was fire. Stay here. Don't move. So the homie ain't believing me. You know what I mean? I'm like, nah. He said stay put. So after the party, we sat down. He was like, your shit is dope, man. He told me, this my man Sam Snead right here. I was like, yeah, Sam Snead, you better recognize. I knew that part already from. So he was like, yeah, this him. He was like, he working on the album right now. He needs some help on the album. Maybe y'all can get it in, right? So I'm like, bet. So man, we in the party, like I had never seen a party like this. It's like Jada Pinkett and them there, and Pam from Martin, like all kind of stars and shit. Like, so I'm tripping off top. You know what I mean? And then he say that he liked the shit, and he tell me, the next morning he called us and said, hey, I'm having a barbecue at my house. Come to the house, right? So we go out to the house, go back in the studio, and Snead in there, and they got up the Natural Born Killaz track. You know what I mean? Just the next day. So he said, you got something for that? I'm like, yeah. Snead asked me, you got something for that? I'm like, yeah, I got something. So initially I was supposed to write Snead's verse. So I go in, hit that shit, Journey with Me into the mind of the maniac, doomed to be a killer. You know what I mean? And so Dre came in and heard it, was like, who is that? He's like, that's Flex. Make me a tape of that, right? So they was shooting, you remember Murder Was the Case? Moved like it was a video, but it was a long movie damn near.
Right.
So they was shooting that. And so he's like, I got to go to the video shoot. Y'all come up there. You know what I mean? So we like, all right, cool. So Sneed make him a tape of it or whatever. So we get up to the video shoot. I hear myself like bumping out the Ferrari, like, and niggas standing around like, who is that? Dre point at me, like, Flex, right? So he tells Sneed, hey, I'ma spit that verse. You know what I mean? You know, so because initially it was supposed to be Dre and Sneed on there. Then Cube heard it, and Cube was like, "Shit, let me do the hook." First, Cube was just gonna do the hook. Then Cube was like, "Nah, fuck that. Let me get on that motherfucker." So Sneed got kicked off. You know what I mean? And so, but to make Sneed happy, they gave him Better Recognize on the soundtrack. So he was cool. And so they was like, "Well, where y'all staying at?" We was staying at Motel 6 or somewhere by the airport. And then they was like, Dre said, you ain't gotta stay there no more. You stay at the penthouse. So, bro, literally, we wasn't here 2 weeks. I'm already up in the penthouse on Wilshire, bro, like kicking it. You know what I mean? So it all happened so fast, bro. Like, and that's why I can't really be bitter now, because I know how it jump off. It can happen just like that again. You know what I mean? So that was my entree into, you know, the whole death row Dr. Dre world right there, man.
Were you on set for the video shoot for Natural Born Killaz?
Yeah, we went to the set. I wasn't in the video, but we visited, you know, when they was doing the whole one that looked like Nicole and Ron or whatever. You know, we pulled up on it. I've been on the set of all the videos I wrote, but I wasn't in none of them, you know. And that was by choice. You know what I mean? Like, I could have been in them, but I was like, nah, I'm cool. You know.
Tupac had a cameo in that video, right? He like played a sniper.
He played the sniper that took Dre and them out. He played the police sniper that took them out. And the daddy from Good Times was the police captain or whatever. Yeah.
Who idea was it for Tupac to be in that video?
I'm not sure how he got in the video, man. But my guess was Suge's, because Suge was already courting Tupac at that point. You know what I mean? So that would be my guess, but I'm not sure whose idea it was.
How was it on set?
It was like a mini movie, dog. It was like a movie shoot. One thing about Dre, they was really in a good creative phase right then, and he was trying to get his director chops wet or whatever. So he's studying what F. Gary Gray and them doing, and you know, like, so it was a real creative vibe. You know, it wasn't really no foolishness or nothing like that. You know.
Another song you wrote for Dr. Dre was Keep Their Heads Ringin, right?
Yeah.
For the Friday soundtrack?
Yes, sir.
Give me the backstory on that, my man.
Well, by that time, you know, we had moved out here. You know, we was kicking it. You know, everybody was writing, and he just called me and was like, "I need a lyric." I'm like, "All right, cool." Dre was really good about concepts. You know what I mean? So he was like, "The concept is keep their heads ringing, like he ringing their bells, like he getting some top." You know what I mean? So that's why he say, I know you bobbing your head because I can see you, but you can't see me. He talking about getting top. So he was trying to think of a like subtle way to say it. So he was like, keep the heads ringing. And then he had the idea from the old sequence jam, ring, ding, dong. Remember the sequence joint? That going way back, you know. And so he's like, you got lyrics? Like, yeah, I got lyrics, you know. And so I spit them. How I would do it was I would go in, spit the joint, and then he would make a tape of it, listen to it, and learn it, just like you be riding on the radio, listening to something. And then he would go spit it over top of me and then take mine out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I never knew that, man. I never knew that was the meaning behind that song. So the meaning behind it was him pretty much getting head.
getting top. I know you bobbing your head because I could see you. but you can't see me. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, man,
So,
that's crazy, man.
A
Yeah,
little hidden gem there that y'all niggas didn't know. Ring ding dong. He talking about ringing y'all bell.
Yeah, man. So Nancy Fletcher, she was on that song as well, right?
Yeah.
How was it like working with her?
Nancy was dope. As far as I'll say, Nancy was like a female Nate Dogg, bro, because she could come in and make any hook thick. You tell her what to sing, and she would sing it. You know, like
Underrated,
Dre,
man.
yeah, underrated. And Dre loved working with her because she was easy to work with. You know what I mean? And she was one of his go-tos as far as for hooks and background vocals and stuff like that, bro. Yeah, Nancy was cool.
Yeah, man. Cool person, man. One of the homies, man.
Yeah.
Underrated, man.
Yeah,
Real
highly underrated. And Nancy really was like one of the caretakers for Bow Wow when he was over there. She used to watch Bow Wow a lot.
Oh,
and
for real?
stuff like, yeah, she used to look at the little Bow Wow and make sure he was all right. You know what I mean? Because he was younger than my daughter at that point. He was 8 or 9 talking about Ace Ventura. Alrighty then. He used to say that shit all the time. Alrighty then. You know what I mean?
So Bow Wow, man. How was it like with Bow Wow being around Death Row, being around that environment?
He was just a kid, man. He wasn't, he wasn't like Hershey Loke and them. Like them little niggas was hard already. You know what I mean? But Bow Wow was still like just a kid. He was just a regular kid, with some talent. Like Hirsch was already a gangster. He was already a little baby gangster by that time. But yeah, Bow Wow was cool though. He was young at that point, 8 or 9.
You also co-wrote one of Tupac's most popular songs, man, California Love.
Yes, sir.
Give me the backstory behind it.
Well, that was another one where Dre already had the concept. You know what I mean? He's like, I want to make an anthem. That originally started, Dre was working on the whole new album. He started a new album. So he initially he had 3 verses on that joint. You know what I mean? And so he was like, I want to make a jam about California, So I was like, well, shit, I can do that. I love this motherfucker. You know what I mean? It's my adopted home. So we can easily do that. So cooked up some lyrics, man. Spit them. He learned them. And then he spit them. And so it was 3 verses. We had one in the can. We started working on a couple other ones. I remember Roger came to Dre's house. We cut that at Dre's house. And he came in a yellow suit with some red socks on, bro, with a stack of 20s in the sock. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, yeah, this is my homeboy. This nigga from Dayton. You know what I mean? So I told him I was from Dayton. He was like, what? He knew some of my aunties, and, we chopped it up. So, that was a good experience, man, working with Roger and Dre. And they bought the horns in, like, it was live instruments, and I just watched that song go from 0 to 100. You know what I mean? And Roger was in there with his little talk box and doing his thing. And the funny thing is, bro, we used to have to every 15, 20 minutes he'd take the tube out of his mouth and swing it around the room. We standing around like how y'all are right now. He'd take the tube out and swing that motherfucker around, bro. You got to duck like, hey, hold up, Roger, hold up. You know what I mean? Because it's spit going everywhere, man. Put it back in his mouth, So, but it was an experience, man. Like, we knew it was gonna be a hit off top. You know what I mean? As soon as I heard the beat, the Joe Cocker and
the beat, like listening to the beat alone, I mean, you can say,
So
that's
as soon as I heard that Joe Cocker loop, and I think EPMD had used it, but not like that. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, Dre, you got one, bro. You got one. He's like, yeah, I got one. He's like, this gonna be the one right here. And then when Pac came, he just, he gave Pac one of his coldest ones. You know what I mean? And it was like, here you go. And took his second and third verse off. And Pac came in and blasted it. You know what I mean? So it was already a hit before Pac got on it. So for him to get on it, that was the turbocharger, just sent it through the roof.
It was already a hit before Pac got on it. But when Pac got on it, it just took it to another level.
It turbocharged it. Like, it shot it through the roof. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was an experience, bro.
But was there some issues behind that song?
As far as my money go, it was some issues because Well, the problem was it was 3 or 4 samples in that song. You had Joe Cocker, you had West Coast Pop Lock, you had Heartbreaker from Roger. You know what I mean? And plus Roger had redid the West Coast Pop Lock and used it. So you have 4 or 5 people trying to take the money out of there, plus Tupac, plus Dre, and then it's my turn. So, you know, I'm like, well, damn. You know what I mean? The sample ate up all the money, but somehow y'all got paid. You know what I mean? But that's, you know, neither here or there. What they can't take is the fact that I was part of that song. You know what I mean? So every time I hear it on the radio, bro, and that's often, you know what I mean? It's like, if I'm having a down day, I can hear it and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm that nigga. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, that's one positive thing that's gonna stick with me, you know.
Yeah, man. So all the rumors about people forcing Dr. Dre to give their song to Tupac, and I think I heard a story about Suge Knight went to Dr. Dre's house and forced him to give Tupac the song or something. All that was lies. Dr. Dre willingly picked
Well, I mean, the thing about it is, niggas gonna put shit on everything, bro. Like Frank's Red Hot, you know what I mean? But I mean, Suge really did show up to Dre's house because I was there that day.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But it wasn't that type of party. As far as the California Love, Dre he knew it was gonna be a hit, and he just was like, well, this is, you know, he gonna give Pac some of his best stuff. You know what I mean? Because Dre is a perfectionist. You know what I mean? So he not just gonna throw any old little beat to Pac like, oh, here you go. You know, like when he got out of jail, man, it was like if somebody had took a balloon and just kept blowing air in it, but never tied it off, just kept blowing air in it. That was him sitting in jail. You know what I mean? And then when they let that nigga out, they let the air out. And all that shit came out. That's how he was so prolific, man. He had all that. He was sitting in there with nothing else to do but make up shit. When I get out, I'm going to do this, that. So when they let him loose, man, he was one of the most prolific guys I ever seen as far as the concept of a song, writing it, doubling it, getting it ready. You know what I mean? I think he came out of jail on a Thursday or Friday. And by like Monday or Tuesday, All Eyes on Me was done. The rest of the time was mixing and, you know, mastering, bringing in guests and all that type of shit. But as far as Tupac work on that, bro, probably 4 or 5 days he did All Eyes on Me, dog. Like, this dude was a beast as far as work ethic and being a prolific artist. Forget about it, bro. Nobody could touch him. Nobody.
Out of curiosity, before Tupac joined Death Row, when he was still in prison, was it rumors going around Death Row? Like, did y'all already know that he was going to join Death Row prior to him officially joining the label?
I think he had did a song on one of the soundtracks, maybe a Bud of Rim soundtrack or something like that. He had did a couple joints on there. And then Thug Life was signed to Interscope, and he was signed to Interscope. And so, you know, I think Snoop gave him the idea when he got locked, when the whole shit happened in New York, when he got shot and all that. I think once they realized there wasn't nobody gonna get him out, I think Snoop went at Suge, but Suge was already trying to get Pac anyway. You know what I mean? And then when he got shot and went to jail and all that, you know, Jimmy them was like, you could have him. You know what I mean? And from what I heard, the same thing with Game. Like, they was trying to give Game to Dre or whoever. You know what I mean? Like Interscope, they scary, bro. If it's like some nigga shit, y'all go ahead and handle that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep it real. You know, and that's what I think happened. Tupac was getting into a lot of stuff, and that was too much nigga shit for Interscope. And they like, yo, Suge, you want, you know. And Suge was down to do it anyway, because, you know, he looking out for niggas at that point. So, then we start hearing, hey, Pac coming. You know what I mean? And so, then next thing you know, he was there, bro. I remember the day I met him.
Tell me about that.
we was it was Can-Am. You know what I mean? That's where the shit was going down, Can-Am. So I had just stopped by there, see if anybody had some bud. And turned out Snoop was there and Pac was there. And they was doing Tour of America's Most Wanted at the time. Came in, Snoop was like, hey, this is J-Flexx. This is the nigga that be writing for Dre, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hey, man, good to see you. You know what I mean? He was like, good to be seen, bro. Roll this up, you know. So twisted one and blew it with him. And Snoop gave me a little bud and I bounced. You know what I mean? That's the first time I met him.
So Dr. Dre was cool with Tupac joining the label. Because you know it have been rumors going around that Dr. Dre really didn't agree with Tupac joining Death Row. So from your point of view, Dr. Dre was cool with him joining the label.
Man, he was cool with Pac coming, bro. He welcomed Pac. He gave Pac his best track. Right. That was the best track that we had did to that point. We had 3 or 4 more in the can that was hard as hell. But it wasn't anthem like that one. You know what I mean? So if he didn't want Pac to be there, bro, he would have just threw him off some bullshit. You know what I mean? He gave Pac one of his top tracks.
And he gave him Can't See Me, underrated song too.
Yeah, with George Clinton. Come on, bro. You know what I mean? He gave him 2 of his favorites is what he did.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Good point.
You know.
So was you on set for the California Love video?
I was. Not for the remix, but I was there for the desert one.
The Mad Max.
Yeah, the Mad Max joint. Yeah.
Yeah, tell me
it was
about
out
that.
in the middle of the desert, man. I remember that. It was out in the middle of the desert. It was cold as shit. And they all had on the weird futuristic shit. And they was like, hey, you want to gear up real quick? And I was like, nah, I'm cool. You know, but everybody was drunk on that motherfucker. I know that. Everybody was drunk. And it just looked like some futuristic. It really looked like some Mad Max shit because everybody was out there dressed in the futuristic Mad Max shit. But then you had gangsters over here. You had bras over here. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is this? Like, if somebody would have came up on that and not knew what it was, they'd have been like, what the hell's going on out here? Yeah.
And it was an incident with Chris Tucker on set, right?
Well, where he almost died or something? Yeah. I guess he had almost fell off one of the buggies or something, man. Yeah, Chris, he'd make that shit funny though. You know what I mean? It wasn't funny, but just that nigga just funny, bro. Like, but yeah, it was a near accident, but he was all right. He didn't get hurt or nothing, but he could have. Yeah.
Right. Was there any other drama on set?
Nah, not really, man. It wasn't really no drama, but I had started feeling the tension that night. You know, I started seeing the changes. You know what I mean? Like, oh wait, something's amiss. You know what I mean? Dre was drunk. You know, everybody was drunk. You know what I mean? But it was kind of like I started feeling a little tension. Like, you know what I mean? You know how if you from the hood, you can sense when it's like, hey, some shit kind of thick in the air. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder what's going on.
That caught your attention. That was
I don't know, Pocket said something, and then nigga was like, yeah, we got your back though, Pocket. And then he said some shit like, oh man, you niggas wouldn't do shit for me. You know what I mean? Like, and then like he was all like, they was shooting a little video like, if you come to Death Row, that's when the little East Coast West little shit, you will get, you know, y'all see that footage all the time.
He got the money in his hand.
Right. So that wasn't the Tupac I met. You know what I mean? The Tupac I met was like, hey, good to be seen, bro. Twist this up, making music. It's, you know what I mean? It's a good vibe. It's a positive vibe. You know, this was a little bit later. This was I've been hanging with the Bloods now. Now I'm MOB. Now I'm, okay, you hard now. Okay, cuz, you good. You know what I mean? So, but still not enough for me to be like, what this nigga on? You know what I mean? At that point, it wasn't at that point yet. It was just like, he probably drunk.
Yeah, something you peeped, but it wasn't that serious.
I peeped it, but I was like, everybody drunk, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I was the nigga that come, hit up the scene, see what's up, you know, kick it, and then I'm ready to bounce. I'm ready to go find one and kick it like that. You know what I mean? Like, cause I already knew I was the out of town nigga, and I knew from my cousins and them being from Compton and telling me this shit is real, bro. Like this ain't no fake Boys in the Hood TV shit. So I already knew it was real, and I knew how to move and shake, like to stay out of the way of that shit. You know what I mean? So
And Jada Pinkett, she wrote the treatment for California Love, right?
yeah, I think so. I think they told me she used to be around Death Row sometimes, especially when Pac got there. You know, but even the parties and stuff like that before he got there, she would be coming to the parties. I think she was cool with Michelle A or whatever. You know.
So she was around Death Row when Tupac got bailed out and joined the label?
Well, yeah, like I didn't see her around Death Row then, but the video shoots and stuff like that, yeah. But not the studio or nothing like that. But I used to see her at parties. Like I said, the first party I went to, they was there. You know, we sat and played spades with Jada Pinkett and Pam from Martin, Tashina and Sunshine. I forgot her name. The late girl that played Sunshine, Leela something. You know what I'm talking about? Leela Rashawn or something like that. You know, so they used to all kick it.
So Jada Pinkett, she wrote the treatment for the video, but she wasn't on set for the California Love video, right?
I didn't see her at the video. Not at that video, nah.
Because I heard some rumor, I don't know if you know anything about it, but was it like some rumor like Will Smith didn't want her to be on set because of Tupac or something like that?
I've been hearing stuff like that, and I could see that, bro, because her and Pac was tight, bro, from way back before Will. You know what I mean? So I could see him feeling some type of way about that. But did I personally hear that? Nah. But I could see that being like, I could see that happening for sure, because she was tight with him. You know what I mean?
You're right. Yeah. I heard that, man. I heard that she wrote the treatment for the video, and I heard that she wanted to be on set, but I think Will Smith stopped her from being on set because of Tupac. I guess he didn't want her around Tupac or something like that.
That could very well be true. I don't want to get entangled in that, but you know what I mean. But but no, I didn't hear nothing specifically like this nigga Will won't let her. I didn't hear nothing like that, but that could very well be. I don't know.